You're back. I'm glad you're back to part 2 of our art project called message art, or poster art. In the first section, we talked a little bit about what that was, that posters and billboards and stuff have been around for a long time, but they're usually selling something. Soap, cars, restaurants, that kind of stuff. But poster art and message art, they're not really trying to sell a thing. Message art is you're trying to sell an idea. And usually it is a positive idea. And back in, like I said earlier, back in the 1960s, there was a lot of stuff going on in the world, just really kind of like what's going on right now. And there was a sweep of young artists that came in and started creating these really incredible, beautifully done posters, not these scratchy stuffs, but I mean like works of art that tried to convey, tried to show an idea, a good idea, whether it was, stopping a war that most of America didn't agree with, or maybe it was, taking care of your children. It didn't really make it. It wasn't they weren't selling like cigarettes like they used to. I remember, you're too young, but back a long time ago they had huge giant billboards selling cigarettes. Yeah, I know, in that whack. But anyway, it was a great time for creativity and social change. That's what these posters, these message posters, they were trying to, show people that there's another way to look at things. And they were very, very successful. Some of those posters now, like the original ones, are in museums, and they are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. So that was kind of weird, I thought, that, 50 years later, that type of artwork actually has a money value. But anyway, so as you can tell, I have gotten my basic stuff down. And really, what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the coloring. Okay, let's do this. As I said before, coloring, you can do any coloring that you want. It doesn't make a difference to me. You choose that color palette. The only thing I want you to keep in mind is that when you choose the color for the word hate, think of jagged colors and jagged shapes, something that will give the idea that it's not like this beautiful, sweet, loving word. Whereas with art, you could do anything. You could make it real colorful, you could put wings on them, you could do anything that you want. I just want you, that's the only thing that I really want you to kind of do consciously. Make the word hate look hateful, and make art look like something positive and something artistic. That's the only guidance I want to give you on the coloration, because you can basically do it any color that you want, okay? If you want, I know that on this piece of here, I took a thin magic marker and I outlined all of the words. You don't have to do that if you don't want, but as a poster, it just sharpens up the letters a lot. If you don't have a marker, don't worry about it, okay? But if you do have a marker and you want to take the opportunity to do it, go for it. You could do the coloring first and then go ahead and outline all of your pencil drawing with that marker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I did the last time. I'm going to start out with the blue, and what I want you keep in mind too, I want you to don't scratch through these letters, what I want you to do is I want you to try to make them solid. And the way that you make them solid is you color in the shape of your letters completely. Don't leave much of the white paper showing. Take your time, especially now. I mean, you can, if you don't finish by the time this video is over with, you can do it later. But when you do it, make sure that you take your time and really color in these letters really, really well. Now, there are artists today that aren't necessarily making message art, but they are making, let me say this, they're not making message posters, but they are making message art. And there is a new art, well, he's been around for about 10, 15 years. You may have heard of him, you may not have. There's a gentleman, I think he's from England, and his name is Banksy. That's who he goes by. And Banksy is, and it was and is, a graffiti artist, right? And it's been said that nobody knows the identity of Banksy. The only ones that kind of know is his art agent that helps him sell his art. But what he does is he creates these works of art like a graffiti artist on walls, but they have a message to them. And mostly it's a message of love and getting along with people. His artwork is very, very simple. Once you see his work, you will recognize it forever. And his work now is so popular, and what he did, like a lot of graffiti artists, they go out at night and do it because it's against the law, kind of a thing. He does that literally all over the world. And what he'll do is he and a few people that is his friends, they will go into, let's say, Tokyo, Japan, and nobody will know they're there. And overnight, they will create 1 or 2 or 3 of these paintings randomly in Tokyo. And over the course of a couple of weeks afterwards, people will find them, right? And then they'll know that Banksy was there. And he has gotten so popular that his work now sells for millions of dollars in galleries all over the world. But it started out as he had something to say. Art is communicating. And this is how he communicated to the world how he felt about things. And so he started out as a graffiti artist, and now he not only does that kind of thing, but he also creates work on canvases and stuff that he sells for major, major money. And I don't know, I just think that it's so cool that somebody, just a regular person that's really, really creative, can rise to a point where everybody likes his work, everybody wants his work, he's making an incredible living out of it, and yet his messages are pure. The one that I think he's most famous for, it's a little girl, a silhouette of a little girl standing, holding a balloon, but the balloon is a red heart, right? And it seems real simple, but if you guys have the ability to get on the internet, check him out. It's actually work that looks like something maybe you could do. anyway, I really, at first I didn't like him at all because I thought, oh, you know, another graffiti artist. But this guy has just done some really outrageous work, and the way that he works, it's really, really kind of cool. But check him out. I think that you would appreciate it. If you like graffiti art, it doesn't look like, it's not spray paint art, graffiti art. But I think that you'd really like it. So there are artists that have always kind of been really creative and have put messages in their work. But the work that I kind of grew up with that was happening at the moment was poster art. It was just all over the place, and I remember that period of time very, very fondly. And what it did for me as a young artist, it fueled me into wanting to be an artist. It fueled me into developing a voice that I could tell people and show the world how I felt through my art. And you know, you can do that too. You know, these great artists that I talk about, they're just people, just like you and me. It's a matter of, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to continue to be an artist? Artist is not just painting pretty pictures, which that's part of art, but sometimes the best art, I think, it tells a message. It gives a message about how you feel and how you believe. Art is communicating, and we all want to be heard, right? Isn't that terrible, especially when you're young like you guys? You know, they don't listen to kids, right? But they can listen to you through your artwork too. So anyway, that's been kind of my life. That's how I've chose to do my artwork. And all my artwork is kind of a message stuff. There's always messages in my work. I just find art that has messages are just really very, very interesting. Sometimes a lot more interesting than just a beautiful picture. How's it going out there? Well, I'm babbling on video. I hope that you are coloring your poster. Please finish these. It's a great message. Show your folks. Hang it up. Hang it up in your house. You know, we've talked about this a lot with young. I've talked a lot to young people in my classes about how destructive hate is. Maybe you can do something about it. Maybe you're the next Banksy, or you're the next artist that's going to come along and do a picture or do a piece of artwork, and people will look at it and maybe go, hey, that artist is right on. That artist is telling the truth about hate. So anyway, I'm about out of time. Please finish these. You don't have to stop when I stop here. Thank you for coming out. It's always a pleasure for me to be here talking to you and doing some artwork. And I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.